2, 2, 2, 1, 2. Check, check. And now give me just a tiny bit more because I don't want to push it. Hey, hey, yeah, that's good. Check. Hot, I'm hot, I'm hot. No, just a little bit, I'll just stay off it. But I'd rather have more than not enough. Hey, baby.
I'm Joe Koenig, and I write the songs and the boys bring them to life, and it's been a humdinger.
My name is Emery Nelson, and play the drums. I'm one of the Homewreckers.
I'm Eric Patterson. I play guitar and upright bass.
My name's Dylan Nicholson. Joe tends to call me Darvis, but I play guitar and sing in the Turkey Buzzards and Homewreckers. Something's going on with this E string, man.
It's stuck under the fret?
Yep. That's exactly what it is, Eric.
This tour was about 5 months in the making. Decided to hit one to start it off in Queen Creek, Arizona. The Turkey Buzzards kind of transformed into the Homewreckers, and it's been a good deal.
We usually show up, set up really quick, and play the Turkey Buzzard set. And we'll switch gears. It's really cool playing with Joe and Emery.
Got my ever so consistent and long driving Emery Nelson on the drums. He hits the skins just right for what we do.
1, 2, check, check. Hey, yeah, you sound like Barry White.
Joe does what Joe does, you know. When I first saw Joe, he was playing by himself, doing a solo thing, and I was playing in like a funk band at the time. Totally different.
Yeah, it's been nice. Get to start out doing the Turkey Buzzards thing, which is Eric and I, that's our baby. Play a show to a bunch of people around a campfire. Beautiful area.
She's my full-time loving woman, my full-time ball and chain.
It's nice to get like warmed up too, doing the Turkey Buzzard thing and then feeling pretty loose.
And they had a campfire going, and we got to start another fire right in front, and so he did, and it brought a crowd in right in front and made it quite a bit more fun.
There's a song called Work about my hard-working family down in Texas. I'm a hard-working man, can't sit still.
I noticed that the band was really, you know, starting to click and get tight, and starting to feel like something. It was a good way to kick things off.
And we knocked the crap out of that show. It was a really good one, good energy. From there, we had to make a big jump and get on down to White Sands, New Mexico. We were hoping to do like a legit music video out there, but Harvey don't move as quick as you'd like sometimes. So we got to the damn gate 1 minute too late. We didn't get in, everyone's kind of deflated, but on the way in, I kind of saw this dune that went over.
The dune had kind of washed over the fence, which was a 1-foot fence at that point.
As we hopped the fence, we saw a sign that said there were live munitions. So that got the heart pounding a little bit more, I guess. Breaking in with daylight that we were losing by the moment, and then the fear of maybe standing on a live bomb was exciting.
I said, listen, we're gonna do this. And it was cold as hell, but we jumped out and we threw down a little bit of a Hellraiser tune.
Gotta know so I can walk you
was sketchy, but it was totally beautiful. A nice sunset coming in behind us, and that was really fun.
Shot a quick music video while we were freezing in the sunset, and then got back in Harvey and motored on down the road.
So it is always interesting, and I kind of told these boys in the beginning, I'm like, it's gonna be a hell of a letdown, because you're gonna get to the Texas state line, and there's that little bit of woo, we're in Texas, and everybody kind of hoots, and then you go, we got to drive 9 more hours before we get to concrete. So it's a up and a down. So you just keep driving and driving and driving.
We drove 25 hours. It was pretty brutal. We worked in shifts. A lot of good jokes and laughing.
Joe's been handling most of the driving, which has been really nice. Been able to have a few road sodas and a few nips of whiskey.
I think I'd burn out after about 18 hours. I think then Emery took over and he white knuckled it for a long time. Harvey has kind of loose steering, so you got to kind of adjust constantly.
Harvey's a big old beast. Not the easiest vehicle to drive or keep on the road, but it's got the job done. About 6 miles to the gallon. I guess we had a shock blow off. Kind of remember Joe taking the shock off and having it in his hand and stepping in here and saying, "You don't really need a shock, right? Isn't that like an accessory or a necklace?" And we drove all the way out to southeast Texas without a shock on the front right. You know, it made it. So
and we drove through a lot of Texas. And ended up at concrete. Got to meet Joe's family and see the church where he first started singing.
Concrete, creeped in there, and we had a show that night.
This is Texas soul, baby. Deep southeast Texas, real Texas, baby.
Unrecognizable, punches the clock. Costume hands shake. Spirits down through the
Texas people have been great. The food's really good, and people have been really hospitable, and everybody's put us up. Just a great crowd. Nice people.
We upturned bottles in the name of Jamestown. Just to shoot as we pass them around.
So I know these guys are too proud to say it, but they're hard-working musicians, and I just want to make sure you let them know it and show it so they can keep bringing the show around. They got a lot of touring to do. But without further ado, in the freezing cold weather, we'll bring you Joe Koenig and the Homewreckers.
How y'all doing?
Joe was a little under the weather for that one, but he troopered through. A lot of people were there to see him, so he didn't have much of a choice.
Y'all gonna get the rough and tough version of Joe Koenig tonight. I'm gonna do my damnedest, but the voice is on his way out.
Vocal was rough that night. I did a Barry White version of all my songs.
My girl saved up just enough dough, fill up the tank and give her a go. Yeah, now we packed up guitars and those fiddles too.
Playing guitar in the cold, and a lot of these are outdoor shows. It's brutal.
We froze our asses off out there. I could barely play.
Me and Dylan had to adjust quite a bit on the guitar.
The voice is one of those things, you can't just tune it with a wrench or something. But he muscled through that southeast Texas gig and showed some heart, and we got through it. But it was a great show.
We pushed through, and I think people appreciated the effort. It is kind of interesting singing, seeing your own breath fly out in front of you. It's a little intimidating sometimes, and it obviously makes you talk like a frog.
And I feel like this is what I was born to do. I don't want to.
Everybody always asks about that name, the Homewreckers, man, and people, they almost get offended when they hear it at first. You see people's face kind of twinge a little bit. They're like, Homewreckers. And we were literally wrecking homes to pull off one rehearsal. So that we used it as a joke, and then once we saw that it offended people, it stuck.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I wouldn't mind having a roadie, but reality is we're all here doing it because we want to. That just comes with the territory, so I don't think anyone's scared to get back there and hump some amps and chuck them in the trailer. It's just part of the gig.
Little Miss Kirsty was holding out, waiting for the one without a doubt to make her feel home. So the story goes, she gave up looking for Mr. Right.
So Harvey the RV, I looked for a touring rig for a long time, test driving stuff off of Craigslist and, you know, crazy stuff. Every one of these things was bad shape or it was dangerous. I put my 7-month pregnant wife in one of these things and the brakes went out. We almost died. So I decided at that point I was just over test driving RVs. And just so happens this guy owned a Harvey, and he really liked the song I wrote about my mom, so he gave Harvey to me for a ridiculous price. And it was in really good shape. It's still in pretty good shape.
Yeehaw, cowbell!
Oh, Harvey the RV. It's been a good ride. Feels a little bit like home now.
Coming up, we got Green Hall, which is like it's the one for this tour for me. I've been wanting to play that place since I was a kid. It's just weekends, the place is packed, and we're stoked to do that one. We're going to rehearse a little bit today and get tight and make sure it happens right.
Green Hall, I mean, that's one of the more legendary venues. I think it's the very first dance hall in Texas. And you tell people in the area that you're going to be there, it's a pretty big deal. And it's a tough place to get a gig. And I know for Joe, it's like a major milestone for him. You know, he's wanted to play there his whole life.
Joe said it doesn't matter how big the room is as long as it's full.
I got a new custom guitar just for this tour, and I can't be in Texas without showing off my favorite part. This thing's kind of close to my heart. The old standby, right? Can't be a Texas boy without having it near you.
Yeah, so we always end the shows with a little help from my friends, which is a Beatles tune that Joe Cocker, you know, made right.
I need someone to love. Could it be anybody?
That song kind of translates quite a bit to what my touring situation is, getting by with a little help from my friends.
Find a little help from my friend. Oh, I get high, a little help from my friend. Oh, I can try a little help from my friend.
We always end up going and getting by through all these things with, you know, staying at friends' houses and friends hooking us up with shows, and it's all just a big, it's a nice song to end with too, because you know, everybody gets arm in arm and sings with you, and it's just it's a powerful tune. A little help from my friends.
We are Joe Koenig and the Homewreckers. Thanks for having us, folks.
Thank you so much. Woo! Y'all know the words? Let's see what we can do. 2, 3, you in your color. Let them shine through.
turkey guitar?
Right.
Because the voice is blown already. What the hell?